Well, it is football time in college football, and we're back with another episode, episode 2 in our weekly episodes, I guess, but it's now been a daily episode because we talked about yesterday the AP Top 25 weird poll that they put out at the beginning of the season, and as of this morning, about 12 o'clock, I guess, is when they actually did release the new AP Top 25 polling. Things have changed. And for that, I'm going to go ahead and let Cody to take it away because he talked about this right at the end of the show last night. So I'm going to let him start this up. Go ahead, Cody.
Absolutely, Dustin. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't very far from the rankings that we seen last night. I mean, whenever we read those off last night, I mean, we thought that they were pretty close to what we were going to see tonight. But I have the new week 2 AP poll pulled up right here, and I'm just going to quickly run down through. Let's see, the top 25, of course. So, of course, number one spot. Of course, everybody saw this. It's obviously Georgia. In the number two spot, we have Michigan, which is interesting, but I mean, it's believable.
They didn't
Obviously,
change. So those two haven't
not at
changed.
all. No.
Okay.
Um, in the third spot, we have Alabama, which I mean, that's a gimme, of course. After what they've done to T.N. Martin, I mean, I don't know, but last time we talked about it, it was a little bit iffy, but I mean, they still got the third spot. So, number four is a drastic change because now we're seeing Florida State in the number four spot in the top five. So that's an interesting climb in the rankings. Number five, we have Ohio State that I believe went. Did they went up? Didn't they?
No, they went down. They were third
Or they went
Yeah,
down?
they
That's right.
dropped.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So they dropped.
because
Yeah,
the Indiana game was weird.
yeah. That's right. That's right. Okay. Number six, we have Southern California. So that's interesting. Uh Not much to say about that one, I don't believe.
I'm pretty sure they haven't
Um,
moved, to be honest.
they haven't moved at all. Yeah. Number seven, we have Penn State. Everybody's seen it. Number eight, we have Washington. Sure. Number nine, we have Tennessee. So top 10 team.
Yeah,
Like we
top
were
10.
talking about last week. Top 10 team now. Number 10 spot, we have Notre Dame. That's pretty fair. Number 11, we have
They
Texas.
haven't moved.
That's fair as well. Number 12, we have Utah.
They
Uh,
moved 2 spots up.
let's see, 13, we have Oregon. 14, amazingly, we still see LSU. So LSU is still within the top, at least top 15. So that's interesting. In the top 15, let's see. To end out, number 15 spot, we have the Kansas State. We get into 16, we have Oregon State. Number 17, we have North Carolina. Number 18, we have Oklahoma. Number 19, we have Wisconsin. Number 20, we have Ole Miss. Another new face we have is Duke, which is now in the number 21st spot. So this is quite a change, of course, from what we've seen from the week one polls, which is very, very interesting. Number 22, we have Colorado, which is this is also a new face. Very interesting.
And
Very
and,
interesting that
and
they put Duke over
Duke and
Colorado.
Colorado right next to each other. Yeah, yeah.
They are. They are. They are. The number 23rd, we have Texas A&M. Number 24, we have Tulane. And amazingly, in the number 25 spot, we have Clemson. So Clemson wasn't completely dropped. Of course, they are put at the very bottom, but they were not completely dropped.
So now that you listed off the top 25, which there was some changes, some big changes, and some subtle changes. Where do we want to start? Do we want to start at the top of the list, or do we want to start at the bottom of the list?
Um, to be honest, there's not really much going on at the top of the list besides Florida State being moved to
Yeah.
fourth and
Yeah,
Alabama
I
taking
believe we
Ohio
should talk
State's.
we should talk more towards the bottom because that's where everything's changing.
Yeah. So number
That's where a
25,
lot of new people come in.
we talked about this yesterday. We talked about with Clemson losing to North Carolina, did they even deserve to be in the top 25? Apparently, there was some people that thought Clemson decided to still be in the top 25 and knock what was it Iowa out of that spot.
Yep, yep.
Um,
Yeah.
which let's not get wrong here. Is Clemson better than Iowa? Most likely, but do they deserve to be in the top 25 with a one loss already? And it was a pretty bad loss. I mean, they were ranked 9 before this ranking, and North Carolina comes in, treats them just they disrespected Clemson. I'm sorry, they did. Dabo was shaking his head. He was hanging his head at the end of that game. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe in a press conference he said that he had never been in a game like that,
Yeah, he pretty
which
much threw his
is
boys under the bus on
interesting.
that one. That was kind of weird. He threw his whole team under the bus. So
He did.
yeah, I don't know if
He
I would.
did. There's
I don't know if I agree with them even being in the top 25 after that game.
he does have a lot of explaining to do.
Oh, absolutely.
A
That
lot
was
of explaining.
that was just disgraceful. Um, which that begs the question. You know, when last week we had that problem, or when we was talking about the video last night, and we had the problem with the polling was Tennessee being 3 spots below Clemson, and we beat them in the Orange Bowl. We had the same players. They put Clemson ahead of us, which we all thought was crazy. Clemson gets spanked by North Carolina. You know, I don't think they're that good of a team this year. He's got a lot to explain to do. Dabo does, and 25. I think that was being generous to him.
Hey,
I
but
think it
justice has
was
been
absolutely,
served.
Oh,
Justice
absolutely,
has been served.
absolutely.
absolutely. That was Duke's first top 5 or top 25 win since when?
Like,
But did I
I
say
think it
North
said it was
Carolina
like,
earlier? It was not North Carolina.
yeah,
I'm sorry, Duke.
yeah,
Yeah, admonish me on that one. It was Duke. My bad. I'm still thinking about the North Carolina South Carolina game. But yeah, the
yeah. It
Duke.
was Duke's first win against a ranked opponent in an opener game in about what 19. I could be wrong. It was like 1960 or 70 something.
Yeah,
So
it was quite some time.
something something.
I don't
Especially a top
remember.
10, top 10 team. They come in. They weren't ranked beforehand, and came in and showed everybody that they weren't playing around. I mean, they came in strong. That quarterback still a crazy good quarterback.
Absolutely. I mean, with all the red zone fumbles they had, I mean,
Yeah,
they just couldn't pick it up, man. They
back
couldn't
to
pick it
back
up.
red zone fumbles. I mean, that was a rough game for Clemson. I think generously they put them in the
Absolutely.
25 spot. They lost 16 spots for that loss.
Absolutely. What it was an upset game.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know I think if they played again, it would happen again. I think Duke was just the better team.
After what we seen last night or the other night, I want to agree with you. I
I
want to
think
absolutely agree with you.
they were the better team. They probably still are the better team. I don't know what happened to Clemson in the off season, but there's some issues going on there, and I think it's going to be a fight going forward for them.
Now I don't know. Now, I don't know necessarily. I don't know if it was just in the off season. I mean, we seen something like this like last year in the Orange Bowl against Tennessee. I mean, they weren't handling themselves pretty well.
True.
I mean, granted, they've probably had some people drop, obviously, but I mean, from what I've seen, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell if they've had anything going this past season.
Probably not, but it is what it is. They dropped down 16 spots. I think they deserve more, but justice was served in that that horrible, I'll just say horrible, top 25 polling that they did from the opening season. Moving forward, we got 24 and 23. Didn't
Ha ha
change.
ha.
They didn't change. They stayed the same.
Yeah.
Tulane and Texas A&M.
Yeah,
Nothing changed there. They both won the game. They both didn't move a spot. Now the next two, those are worth talking about.
absolutely.
Colorado
Now
at
it,
22.
it kind of brings a question though. I mean, how do you really differentiate between the two games? I mean, obviously you've got people who weren't ranked for a while, give or take,
Yeah.
coming into the ranking spot. So how do you really weigh whether or not which one should be which one should be above the other. It's hard to tell. I
Well, I
mean, you've
mean,
got Duke above Colorado, but it's
Colorado
it's hard.
going like 1-10 last year, coming in with the new coach, Mr. Deion Sanders, winning a upset. That's what that was an upset. Do they deserve to be above a Duke that put a
To
hurting on Clemson
to
though?
be fair, Colorado beat a TCU team that was what 17th ranked last week.
Yeah,
This
Hmm.
is of course is not the same TCU team. We went over that.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. But
so
even
I
so,
think 22 is fair though.
TCU was a competitor in last
Oh, for
year's
sure.
national championship. So
TCU.
I mean,
And they did
I
lose
mean,
quite a bit of
yeah,
people.
but they lost like 10 starters, and it's not taking away from TCU. They still put 42 on Colorado, even though they lost the game. People look at these scores and they're just like, uh, well, Colorado won 40. Yeah, but look how close they are. 42? 42 points TCU put on you, Colorado. Now, we praised their defense last episode and when this game happened, and I'm still gonna praise Colorado's defense now. It's just, you know, you still got 42 dropped on you by a championship team last year, even though they probably didn't deserve to. No, there's no probably about it. They didn't
They
deserve to
didn't.
be there. But this is a team that lost like 10 of their starters. TCU was 17th last week, and you beat them. So I think you deserve a spot. I think 22 is fair for Colorado, but Duke beating Clemson, which was ninth, just statistically, that makes sense for Duke to at least be 1 or 2 spots higher than Colorado because
Absolutely.
Duke
yeah.
beating this supposed top 10 team, I mean, sorry, Clemson fans, man, but apparently you're still living in the Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson era, I guess. I don't know.
Mr. Sunshine.
But Duke gave you an upset game as well, and you were in the top 10, and Duke, I don't know, they just ran away with the game. They're 21st now. So I believe the rankings for Duke and Colorado is pretty,
I'm
I
just
think
glad
it's
to
I
see
fair.
him.
agree with you.
I'm
I
glad to
agree
see
with
him
you.
there.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
not
it
complaining.
also it dwindles down to how many more points that Duke put on Clemson besides the 3-point game I think it was from Colorado and TCU. So I mean I think Duke definitely put a lot more hurt on Clemson
Oh yeah.
than Colorado to TCU. So I think Duke does deserve a spot, or maybe a spot or two. I don't know. I think it might be a little debatable whether or not they should have been up a little bit more or not, but I think they definitely deserve a spot.
Well, I mean,
Absolutely,
you gotta look at
probably.
who's next. Ole Miss is at 20. They moved up 2 spots. Ole Miss put some hurting on the team they play.
On Mercer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I shared a video with you on. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it. This guy I watch all the time on he's possibly my twin brother. I'm not 100% sure, but he was joking about that. The part when it pops up Ole Miss there, he says that the team was yelling mercy, and he said, "No, I'm pretty sure it was just Mercer that they were shouting."
Hmm.
So I mean, they put a
Yeah, I
they
didn't
put
get
a
to watch
hurting
it.
on them. So I mean, they moved up 2 spots, and I don't know. I don't know if Duke is Ole Miss quality there. So I think they deserve to be where they're at. Just good to see them up in the 21, 20, and 22 spots.
It's fair.
Yeah. So like we said, 20 Ole Miss moves up 2 spots. Wisconsin stays the same, doesn't move a spot, doesn't
Not much to
fall.
talk about there, yeah.
And then we got Oklahoma.
Cool.
That moved. They moved up 2 spots also. So they came up 2 spots. They put a little bit of a
Surpassing
hurting.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, they passed, but they put a little hurting too. So they deserved another two
Rightfully
spots
so,
also.
yeah.
Um, UNC game or UNC coming up 4 spots. That's pretty good. South Carolina wasn't ranked going into that game, but it was a good game to watch. I will say that. Four
Yeah,
spots.
absolutely.
I say okay. That's the thing with this poll. It's still going off of really nothing. We still have no information on a lot of these teams because your week 1, week 2 games are really throwaway games. So really don't get to see a whole lot of what they're going to be doing in the regular season anyways, or the rest of the season. So we don't really know. So will UNC stay in where they're at? I don't know. Do they deserve to be where they're at right now? Sure. They move up 4 spots, beating South Carolina, but um, everybody below them, minus what Duke and
Yeah.
Colorado, those are the only 2 teams down there that played ranked teams anyways. So that came out of the unranked spots. So number 16, who is number 16 there? Oregon State.
Oregon State.
They moved up 2 spots. A lot of these teams are automatically moving up 2 spots anyways for teams dropping down. I mean,
That's
with
kind of
Clemson,
what I predicted. Like,
Clemson
last
had
time.
dropped down 16 spots, so of course you're gonna have some teams moving up anyways. So that makes sense. We got where was we at?
We're at Kansas
Kansas
State
Kansas
now.
State. Okay,
Yeah.
so we got
15th.
Kansas. Well, they moved up 1 spot. Nothing really to talk about.
That's
1
fair.
spot up, no
Yeah.
biggie. They won their game. Now, number 14, LSU went down 9 spots. So,
Oof, from
I
5th.
mean, yeah.
yeah, that's a big drop. Not as big as Clemson, but it's still a big drop. But you had that game was a number 5 and number 18 game or ranked
Yeah.
game. So Florida State did put a pretty bad hurting on them. It was 45 to what,
Yeah.
24?
Yeah, after the half. So after the
Yep.
first half.
Let's see. The final was 45 after 45-24. What the final was.
Yep.
And I mean that's a pretty big score difference. Dropping down 9 spots, I say deserved. Rightfully deserved. LSU didn't
Yeah.
hold up their bargain of the SEC deal. They dropped that spots. So I mean, it is what it is. FSU was just the better team on that one also.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
makes sense to move down 9 spots. I mean, that's a pretty far drop. But it was a close game, or close in rankings. I won't say the
Yeah,
score was
no.
close at all.
I mean, it was close till the first half, and then Florida State just decided,
They were
we're
done
done
with
playing
them.
with our food,
Yeah.
and then just obliterated them.
So we got the Ducks coming at 13, moved up 2 spots. Like I said, some of these teams are moving up automatically 2 spots because of who's dropping. So it makes sense to move up. Utah's the same way. Texas stays the same place. Now Texas,
Yeah.
they got a big game coming up.
Oh, Alabama game. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's coming up
Absolutely. What is
Saturday.
it? This Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, so
Now, I know this is just a review of the week 2 polls, but just a little bit. There's something about Texas that we should talk about, but let's continue going through the polls.
okay.
Yeah.
Notre Dame moved up 3 spots. Do they
That's
deserve
fair.
3 spots of beating Navy,
Or Tennessee State.
or
this
is it
last
or
week.
either one? Yes, I'm
Yeah, they
still
beat Navy. Yeah,
week 1. Whew.
Yeah, they're week 2 right now.
Yeah,
Notre
they are
Dame.
week 2.
It's kind of
Oh,
throwing me off.
that joke was in that video too. With
Oh yeah,
Vandy.
I need to
Yeah,
watch it.
you need to watch it. It's good. He does really good with those SEC videos. But yeah,
With
the
the
Vandy
SEC like roll call video
Yeah.
or whatever, right? Yeah.
Vandy jokes about it in there that they're on week 2 and everybody else is on week 1. But yeah, Notre Dame, do they deserve 3 spots? I mean, they
mean,
are
Tennessee
2-0, but they're
So-
both not great teams.
Yeah. Hey, whatever.
Yeah. Then you got Tennessee moving up 3 spots. So
Deserved.
Yeah. I
That
think.
sounds biased. I'm sorry. I know that sounds crazy to some people, but no, it's seriously. We should have been 9th to probably begin with. Guys.
Yeah, I
Let's
think
just be real.
this is where
Yeah.
we should have been starting out in the polls. There's some teams ahead of us that I think probably deserve to be up ahead of us right now.
Oh, Penn State, I
Yeah.
definitely think deserves. USC,
Yeah.
Ohio State, Florida.
Yeah. So I
State.
mean, it is what it is.
I mean,
We
I'm not
moved up to
complaining with
where I
top
think
10.
we should have been at. Now things can change, but I think we're supposed
sure.
to be.
For sure.
Number
Yeah.
8, Washington moved
Fair
up
enough.
2. Fair
That's
enough.
They
Yeah.
beat now we talked about just a little bit about Boise State. It's like Dustin here said, Boise State's really only cool for their blue field. No, that's partially true, but Boise State, they're not great. They're not amazing at the football game or nothing, but Boise State has never really been terrible. But yeah, they here recently they've been kind of eh. But I actually thought Boise State could have held in with Washington, and they just didn't.
Yeah.
So I think that's why Washington moved up 2 spots because I think everyone collectively agrees like, well, Boise State's not amazingly good, but they're decent enough. They can give people trouble, but Washington was like, not for us, and they just kind of dropped 56 on them. So I think 2 spots for Washington from number 10 last week is pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good, I think.
Now,
Pretty good.
and we're not going to say right now because, like I said, things are going to change. Is Washington better than Tennessee if they play each other? We're not going to say that right now. We don't know what they're.
It would be a great game.
Yeah, it would probably be a pretty decent game. And that's just something that wouldn't happen right now. So we can't say either way. I, it is what it is. Washington, where they're at, sure deserved. Penn at 7, they didn't move.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
West Virginia.
Yeah.
They're not playing no one
Yep.
crazy.
USC stayed the same spot.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 2-0. They're in their second week also.
Moving into their third. Yep.
So Ohio State lost 2 spots.
Rightfully
Yep.
so. And a lot
Yeah.
of Ohio State fans be like, "What? No, don't do that, dude." Like 23-3.
Mm.
It's Indiana. Now, sorry, Indiana. Again, Indiana. I said in the last time we spoke that I do feel like Indiana can give teams some trouble. Michigan had their hardest game against Indiana. Do I think Indiana is like gonna creep up in the top 25 and be no? I don't think they're gonna be a playoff team or nothing. But Indiana's defense pretty solid. Okay. Of course they did lose by 20 against Ohio State, but they literally gave Ohio State a run for their money. This game definitely, yes, it definitely
They
did. Yeah, they didn't put up.
deserved losing the 2
Yes.
spots. And
Yes.
I mean, your first, it's their first week. It's like many teams' first week. You expect your first week to put on the points. It's the most
And they-
exciting games for
And they
the
were
bigger
ranked
schools.
over Alabama.
Yeah.
So what do you think that says to them or about them since, they didn't come out and completely lambast Indiana?
You
Those Big
expect
Ten
your
teams.
teams to come out and score, and those are the fun games because you're going to see a lot of scoring. You're going to see a lot of fun plays being played, and Ohio struggled.
And Indiana just was like, nah, you're not doing that against us, dude. Nah. So even though they still lost by, I wouldn't say it's a landslide loss or nothing, because it's about roughly 2 scores.
That's a ball game still.
That's like, dude, they could have came back and won that game. So
Yeah.
Ohio State, you got some stuff to fix, bro.
Yeah,
You got some
Yeah.
stuff to fix because Michigan's beating you so far. I'm
and
not
you got
kidding.
some
Michigan's
teams
winning.
that are below them that are they're inching their way up. They're waiting
So yeah,
for them to mess up.
if you're still top 5, Ohio State, cool. You're still top 5, but to be ranked over Alabama at the start of the season and come out and and I'm gonna say it, almost lose to Indiana, and I know that sounds crazy for some people to say, but even though they only got a field goal, you could have lost that game if you wasn't careful.
They
And
struggled. I mean, that's
yeah,
all it
they
was
certainly
to it.
did. So yeah, they definitely deserve losing the 2 spots. Because you started over Alabama, you just didn't really prove you deserved to be number 3. So Alabama being number 3, which we won't get ahead of ourselves because we got Florida State next.
Yeah.
But
Now Florida
sorry, Ohio
State
State.
comes in at number 4, moves up 4 spots. They moved
Yeah.
up 4,
Now
and LSU
that's
drops
a
down 9.
very that's a very high
think-
spot. Do you think it's deserved?
I
I
actually
think they're a team to
okay.
be reckoned with.
I do too.
I think
Now
so.
here's the problem that I face, and I can't emphasize this enough. Is LSU just that bad? Is Florida State just that good? It's week 1. You can't really say these things. As much as everyone wants to dog on Clemson Clemson or LSU, we can throw
Mhm.
Clemson in the mix. Either of them. No, I think it's kind of noteworthy to say that Clemson's probably not as good as they are anymore. So I think it's safe to say that. But LSU, let's not act like LSU did not play good. Yeah, they got blown out of the water. It's just FSU came out with the better game plan. We looked at the stats last time. looked at the stats. LSU, Jaden Daniels, everyone else, they played fine, man. They actually played fine. And they were evenly matched. It's just FSU's game plan was better,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
and
it
they just
was
were the better
a
team.
LSU. It was favored for LSU to win pretty much the majority of the game.
Exactly.
It's
So they
just
were the underdogs, Florida State
yeah.
underdogs.
So I
So I
mean,
think them being moved up from going to number 4 from 8 is deserved.
and
I
here's why I
believe
think
they
it's
should be top 5.
with them. The rest of the schedule, and not to get into much of what the next week's gonna look like, but the rest of the schedule, I think they've got no problem dealing with 99% of the teams.
Oh yeah, they run the
That's
board for
that's
sure.
scary for your top 4 or 5 teams up there. Meaning they probably got this in the bag going forward, and these other teams like Ohio, you're already having a hard time. You're struggling. You may not get that spot back. You just may not. Florida's got a
Yeah.
pretty easily handled rest of the season. They play a couple ranked teams that are ranked right now that may not be later on that are lower ranked than them, and I just don't think they're the same quality as they are. So I think they may be a force to reckon with, and we'll just see what
Later in the
happens.
season too.
Yeah, so we'll just
Yeah.
see. I mean, they came out and proved themselves. I think they will continue to prove themselves.
Absolutely. I mean,
So,
all Mike Norville needs to do is just win.
oh yeah, and I don't
Just
think they'll have a
win.
problem with it either. I don't think there'll be a problem with winning.
Yeah.
No.
So Alabama moves up 1 spot.
Only because Ohio State moved down,
Yeah,
since Indiana, which is fine.
it
Fair
is what
enough.
it is. I mean, they put the work in for their game. They did it, but they did let MTSU put
Yeah,
7 points on him, which
they did. They did. Nick Saban, what are you doing? Are you falling
that's
apart, Nick
interesting.
Saban?
He wasn't happy about
Falling
Mm,
that.
apart, Nick
yeah.
Saban?
But all right,
No.
so and then you got your top
Still,
2 didn't change. Michigan
Michigan and
and
Georgia.
Georgia, they stayed the
And we
same.
don't really need to talk about those.
Yeah,
We've had our
Yeah.
it
quarrels and
is what
stuff.
it is.
We want
So
to since this is the review of the AP week 2 poll going into week 2. We don't want to dwell too much on the games because we pretty much did a AP
Yeah.
review for
Yeah.
first week last time and a little week 1 recap for all the games. So, um, I kind of want to segue if anyone else doesn't have anything to say real quick. And I
no, I'm
know
good.
this is just a recap for week 2 rankings, but I want to talk about Texas for a second. And it's not about the Rice game really or anything. It's the quarterback rivalry that I'm seeing. You guys know what's going on in Texas?
Oh yeah, well this
Arch
No.
Manning.
yeah.
Arch Manning, one of the Mannings, not Archie, the one who played for the Saints, Arch
It's
Manning, which is the son of Cooper Manning, and
yep.
his uncles are Peyton and Eli
Eli.
Manning.
Yep.
Or he committed to Texas this past offseason. There's a quarterback rivalry going on. Now, I've been hearing some rumors, guys. I've been hearing some rumors. Now, hear me out. Maybe this is just me being delusional, whatever, but I've been hearing rumors that if you don't win this quarterback rivalry, he may be coming to the other UT. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Really?
I've been hearing some other rumors
Interesting.
and they may be showing up here. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
But he did commit. He committed almost right away.
yeah.
But I'm sure that he will be the starter next year because uh, I don't remember Buddy's name for Texas quarterback. I know it's like Ewers or something, his last name like that, right? It's like Ewers
Mm.
Let me go
for the
back and
Texas
check.
starter. Yeah, I'm trying to look at it right now. I don't remember his full name. It's like Austin. It's not Austin. It's let me see. Let me. Quinn. There you go. Quinn
Ewan
Ewers.
Quinn.
Quinn
Yeah.
Ewers. Yeah. Quinn Ewers is the starter. Now I don't remember if he's a senior
Quinn Ewers is a
or
sophomore.
he's a sophomore.
Yeah.
And there is a quarterback rivalry. So
Mm.
listen, I mean that's crazy. He's probably going on. Quinn Ewers is probably going to be, depending on this quarterback rivalry in Texas, is going to be the starter unless Arch Manning shows some, real potential. And he has potential. I watched a lot. Last night when we got done, I was watching a bunch of football stuff or whatever, more highlights and more talks. I went through a big football rabbit hole. I watched like a Drew Brees documentary and stuff. Like it was crazy. But I found Arch Manning, and I already knew of Arch Manning a little bit, but looked at his high school highlights or whatever, you know, uh, and his practice at Texas. I mean, he's a Manning. I don't know what you want me to say.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just all there is to it.
He's a Manning.
But I do hear that if in the next year or two, man, he's gonna get a lot of training at Texas. But if he just don't win this quarterback rivalry or is named the next starter after, no, he's a year behind Quinn Ewers.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time Buddy or I almost said retires, leaves Texas, he won't leave at junior or senior year. That leaves what?
1
Arch
year.
Manning, a junior, a sophomore at best to be the starter. Now that wouldn't be bad if he was a starter. It would be like junior at best, maybe, because he would be a sophomore when Quinn is a junior, and he would have to leave after that season. So it wouldn't be till Arch is a junior playing the game. And if Arch doesn't, no, that's not bad. I'm not saying that's bad, but if he's planning on going to the NFL, which no one really knows his,
Well,
intentions.
you also got to think has he
Uh,
redshirted yet? If he's redshirted, then you're looking at, he's going to be playing pretty much all the time Manning's there. So unless Manning, redshirts this year too. So,
I don't know if he is or not, but I don't know. It just could be. No, no, he's not a redshirt. I just looked it up. So the thing that it could just be talk. It could just be like delusional people starting stuff, But I did hear that if he don't win the quarterback rivalry or whatever happens, he may end up decommitting. Well, not really decommitting, I guess, but transferring. Uh, and apparently Michigan's on the radar, Tennessee's on the radar, and Florida's on the radar for him. So,
ooh.
I mean,
Well, here's the thing.
I would love to have him, to be
Well,
honest. But we have Nico,
we
so
have
that's not
Nico.
really.
And
Yeah.
let's play this out. Let's say he fights for this position this year, doesn't get the position that he wants, and he's wanting to shop around to another team. He decides to pick Tennessee. Nico's already had an off season or a preseason, a whole full season, learning our playbooks, learning how to run our plays, and then you're going to pass up our 5-star, $12 million
He was Nico
quarterback.
was the third best recruit in the nation. Arch Manning was the first.
I know, but I mean,
Texas spent millions for him and some other recruits to win him over. I'm pretty sure Nick Saban was trying to get him to visit. I'm pretty sure a bunch of these other teams are trying to spend. Dude, Texas spent an astonishing amount of money on Arch Manning and some other recruits that were going there for a visit. I mean, 5-star hotels. I mean, amusement rides, a bar for their parents. I mean, it was whatever, dude. It was crazy. Like they spent millions for this visit. I mean, they rolled out the red carpet because he's a Manning. I mean, they were there
yeah,
for Manning. I'm
but
not discrediting the other recruits that were there too with Arch Manning, but those recruiters at Texas were putting that show on for Arch
yeah, but
Manning.
what
I mean,
kind of
you can't
Manning
say
is
that.
he going to be? Is he going to be a Peyton or is he going to be an Eli?
Well, he's seen. Well, both of them are coaching him. Both Peyton and Eli are pretty much building him up too. Now he went to Newman High School. If you know anything about Newman, that's also the high school Odell Beckham Jr. came from,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But so it's a pretty good high school football program or whatever. They have talent or whatever, but whatever the case may be. I don't know much about high school or Newman or whatever. I don't keep up with that. I keep up with like college more than anything. But they say that he's supposed to be better than both of them. Now, when they hype a child celebrity, I'm not gonna call him a celebrity because he's not really been on social media. He didn't
No,
really
but his
have a social media till
family,
recently.
his
Yes,
family's big time.
his family is pretty much celebrities. When usually people hype up their children, like celebrities' children on social media, it never ends well. Unfortunately for their children, they end up being a bust or something bad happens to them, and I don't want that for a Manning. You know, Peyton takes the limelight, of course. Like everyone loves Peyton. Not to discredit Eli or anything, because both we love. I mean, we're Tennessee fans. Of course,
Oh
we
yeah,
love the Mannings. We love the
Yeah.
Mannings. Like
we
there's
love
no.
Peyton
Absolutely.
because
Yeah,
that's
we love Peyton.
yeah.
But
The rest of them
but you
have
know,
been at Texas.
yeah. So it makes sense that Arch would probably be at Texas and stay there. But um, that they are saying, hey, he's getting coached up by both Peyton and Eli. And Cooper Manning played a little bit of football. He didn't get to college. He suffered an injury in high school and he quit playing. But apparently Cooper was a beast in high school. But um, apparently he's supposed to be better than Peyton and Eli in the future. Apparently, is what they're saying. Rumors. It's just rumors.
Yeah, it's just
But
rumors.
but yes, there
I
is
don't think
alleged
there's
talk
enough to
that
judge yet.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean,
I
and
know there
I don't
isn't.
think there's enough.
There isn't, but he was of course he outclassed everyone at Newman. He outclassed almost all of his opponents in high school. They were going up against a 5-star recruit. There was some playoff games that he did not play good in high school. Like he did not. I saw it. He didn't do good. Like he played like he never touched a lick of football a day in my life or a day in his life. But losing so early isn't so bad for someone like Arch Manning. Like losing, getting knocked down early and getting up and learning from that would be good for him.
well,
But
all great
but
quarterbacks know how to do it. You
yes,
know.
I mean, let's just
Yeah.
be honest. Let's look at Drew Brees. Okay, hey, we don't talk about NFL. This is college, but listen, I love Drew Brees. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. Drew Brees
I
has
mean,
had it
Peyton,
rough.
you talked
Okay,
about
Drew
Peyton
Brees has
for a
had it
minute.
rough. But anyway, we're getting off topic. But Arch Manning, this supposed talk, he could be leaving Texas if he just doesn't get to play. But the thing is, I actually don't see him coming to Tennessee
I don't
due to the
either.
fact that Arch Manning was the #1 recruit in the nation. Nico was number 3. We're set. As much as it
Yeah.
would be cool to keep the legacy dynasty alive of the Mannings or Peyton and having an Arch Manning back, having another Manning back in the stadium, for him to
Yeah.
come see his uncle's name at Neyland would be dope for him and everybody.
Yeah.
It'd be dope.
I mean,
And I think Eli has one in Texas, don't he?
I'm sure he probably does. I've not been
But
to their
but
stadium, so
no. So, but yeah, it's just talks. I don't want to sound crazy or delusional. I just want to let everyone know that I don't think he's coming to Tennessee if he ends up transferring. I see him
I would say he'd
may
probably
like.
go Florida or something like that, maybe.
I mean, JJ McCarthy's insane at Michigan. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't even think Michigan wants
Well, he
Arch
wants
Manning.
playtime, and if he wants playtime, he's going to have to go to a college that's
Also,
not very good
that
right
he's
now.
gonna have
reminds
to go to
me,
Florida.
I need to
Yeah,
I need to correct
exactly.
myself from last time. Jim Harbaugh is suspended. So I said something about Jim Harbaugh putting his strings in, his third and fourth strings in last time. Sorry, that's incorrect. He wasn't at the game, and the offensive coordinator wasn't at the game because they're all suspended. My
Yeah.
bad.
That
Just
the
to
team
clarify.
actually did some kind of special like thing at one of
Yeah,
the
they
plays there. They all
yeah
like
they
stacked up locomotive style or something.
yeah. So I just want to clarify. Sorry if anyone was like, Jim Harbaugh wasn't. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, I messed up. But yeah, I just sorry to get off this whole review, even though this is just a review of the week 2 polls. I just thought Texas was an interesting talking
That
point
is an interesting talking
because,
point.
It
and
is.
again, it's just rumors. I don't even know if it's true. I'm just talking
And
about
I
it.
think this game will be a very interesting game. I mean, this could be, depending on how it goes, it could be a make or break for Alabama.
It could.
It's
I
possible.
mean,
I mean, knowing Alabama, I just think Alabama takes it. I don't know.
oh, that's
I mean,
possibility.
this would be a
But
large upset game for them.
Texas is going
This
into that
would be
game to prove something.
But that's a problem.
large.
If Texas
A
wins,
number 11 spot going against a number 3
I mean,
spot
Texas
and
will shoot up
winning,
the
that
ranks.
would be a
Texas will
that
shoot up
would
the
be an
ranks.
upset.
Texas will shoot
Mhm.
up the
Absolutely.
ranks. But if Texas beats Alabama, and since Texas is coming to the SEC next year, I mean, I don't know. Texas could be a problem because as of now, I see Texas and Oklahoma being ran through in the SEC. That's just me. I'm not discrediting their football programs. I'm sure they'll have some good tussles with some SEC opponents here. But Texas and Oklahoma coming to the SEC, I just don't think, as of now, they really stake a name for
Well,
themselves here. You know.
I have to kind of disagree with you there, and this is the reason why I want to disagree with you. We had 3 SEC teams lose games that they
Yeah.
had no business losing. I mean, well, minus the
Yeah.
Florida State game. That was LSU probably shouldn't deserve to lose that much, but
No, but FSU's had the better game plan.
yeah. But I'm just saying, there's 3 teams that lost right there. Texas, Oklahoma, they've got some big teams this year. I think they deserve
Well,
to be in the
this
SEC and could put up a fight against many SEC teams.
well, you see, I see what you're saying, but this is only for me. I only would agree with you if they can even hold a string to Alabama. If they hold it, even hold a string to Alabama, and they show that they are a contender, and they can play and stay with Alabama and almost even beat them, then I would say, yeah, you've earned a spot in the SEC conference. But as of now, playing a team against like Rice and winning, and he won 10 seconds in the pocket for Quinn Ewers or
Well, that
whatever.
was
Like
that dumb announcer or
yeah, I know. I
commentator.
was
That
like,
was
dude, listen, the SEC is not. Yeah, the SEC. Unfortunately, the bottom of the barrel teams are here. You know, you have Vandy, you have Mizzou, you
yeah.
have South Carolina, you have even have Florida under
Yeah.
there. Unfortunately, but like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but your
I
logic there, holding their own, well, that would knock pretty much Vandy, Florida, Arkansas out of
Yeah.
the equation a lot
Yeah.
of the
It put them
times.
in the middle of the pack. It would put them
So,
in the middle of the pack.
well, I mean, yeah, but you can't really kick those teams out of the conference because I don't even know what else conference they join. I mean, sure they could go join some stupid but like it wouldn't make sense, you know.
I would say put them against some of the teams like I just stated off. Well, I mean, minus Vandy. Put them up against like Arkansas, Texas A&M.
They
Let's see
could
what they
go.
do
I
against
don't
some
know.
of those teams.
They could probably do. They could probably do Atlantic Coast. I
Mm,
would say. I could go. I mean, their problems would be Florida State, obviously.
No,
Probably.
they wouldn't even hold a hair to the ACC. Vanderbilt, no.
Vandy's having hard times with,
Missouri, no. Florida, I don't know if they got their game together, maybe they could compete in the ACC. But like, I see what you're saying, and it maybe sound ignorant. It's just before now, no one before now, Texas and Oklahoma coming to the SEC. Everyone was like, dude, they're not going to do anything
oh,
in the SEC.
absolutely, yeah.
But now they're all 11th all of a sudden, and people are like,
Mm-hmm.
Alabama rematches this year. They could do it. I only say this if the Alabama and Texas game is absolutely wild, and if Texas even barely loses, they've earned a spot for me. And if they even beat them, they obviously earn a spot for me. But if Texas just gets blown out of the water, how are they gonna like they'll just be another contender for like Tennessee or Florida. You know, they'll just be another game for us to play if we get them scheduled. You know, to play against them
I don't think they'll be.
because
I want to say it. We got Oklahoma, but I don't think we got Texas in our next year's schedule.
yeah, I think we play Oklahoma next year in the next schedule, but you know what I mean. Like if we
Yeah,
ever get scheduled against them, maybe at some point, because like if they just can't get it done, how are they going to beat Georgia? How are they going to beat Alabama? How are they going to beat any of these? There's two guys. Listen, in the Big Ten, what you have maybe Michigan and Ohio State that are maybe okay. Let's say Michigan for sure is a championship contender team. That's one in the Big Ten. You come to the SEC, there is two championship contender teams in Georgia and Alabama. You add Texas, and not we don't know what Tennessee's going to do, and I don't want to, be like, oh yeah, this is our championship year. No, 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 no. It should have been last year our playoff run, but you know how it goes.
yeah.
But like you have two teams in the conference here, championship contender teams. You're adding Oklahoma and Texas. Can they even get the job done, or is it just another team for Alabama and Georgia to smack down? I mean, that's just what I think about it. I don't know. It depends on this Texas and Alabama rematch. If Texas holds a string to them, holds up with them good, even beats them, then hey, Texas, you have a chance, buddy. You have a
Well, I think a
chance.
lot of that would
Oklahoma,
be
same
solved
thing.
also if they would just have Georgia and Alabama play each other every single year before the
Yeah,
SEC
because
championship.
yeah,
I mean, I think that would solve a lot of our problems, anyways. That would, I mean, that would be the most interesting game, pretty much of the year, most of the time in the SEC, anyways. Might as well just go ahead and get it out of the way. See if they're anything decent. It would probably solve a lot of the issues. I don't know. I think they deserve the spot to be in the SEC. Texas, Oklahoma, they've been working, they've been building for quite some time where they wouldn't have had the chance to come to the SEC anyways. I think, yeah, they'll probably be, just like the rest of us in the SEC, something to chew on for Alabama and Georgia. I mean, that's the way it's been for now the past few years. Yeah, we beat Alabama
It
last year
wasn't
by the
last
skin
year.
skin of our teeth, but I mean, for the longest
But it's
time,
shown that we had a chance. It's
yeah.
shown that we had a chance.
But
And I
we've
think that this year
worked
we
on
might
that for
also have
20
a
some
chance.
years though.
It's true. It's true. But at least we're breaking through. We're starting to chip the wall in. We last year was our start. We shown that Alabama is beatable, and we shown that if we can do it, I'm sure someone else could do it.
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe not in the SEC.
Well,
Georgia's the
no,
only other one.
We'll just have
And
to
there's
see.
no other
currently.
really top 25 team that plays against Alabama, I don't think. Ole Miss plays them. Is Ole Miss going to do it? No.
Mm,
Ole Miss
maybe.
plays Alabama every year.
Yeah, and they've won. It's been a while, but
They've
they've
won a
won.
couple times in the
Yeah.
past, yeah. Like 2015, 2016, 2014-ish maybe is when Ole Miss beat Alabama. I mean, listen, I'm not clowning on Oklahoma or Texas. I do think they're good programs. It's just it's cool to have two new teams in the conference. There's a lot of teams next year going all over the place.
Yeah, there is.
So,
Yeah.
I'm not like dogging on them or nothing. It's just, I'm not saying I even want this to happen, but I don't want Texas to come into the SEC and be a championship contender either. That's gonna make me very salty because now that pushes Tennessee even further away from accomplishing what we should have accomplished last year, which is a playoff appearance. But with the new playoff program next year, we may have a chance, at least for a playoff spot. But it's like I don't know. My whole logic is if they come to the SEC and get ran through by the teams in the SEC, whether that be Ole Miss, whether that be Tennessee itself, whether that be Alabama, Georgia, whether that be Arkansas of all people. I mean, you don't know. But that's all I'm saying. I'm welcome both of them to the SEC, but I want them to be good enough to be here, but I don't want them to be overly good that they're a power dynamic. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
I don't
but-
think anybody does.
Yeah.
Because we've been building too, and I just want our hard work for our team to pay off this season finally, because this is the last season for us. Well, not to make it to the playoffs, because I think we have more of a chance next year.
I think
I'm
we have
meaning
more of
that.
a chance next year.
But this year it would be more rewarding because if we get in next year to the playoffs, it'd be like, well, we only got in because the new program, the new playoff program is in place. Like this is it. It would seem kind of lacklustering to me, but
They'd like
Yeah,
to
I
do
d-
it the old way first. Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to talk about Texas a little bit because I don't want we don't want this to string on almost 2 hours like we did last
Yeah.
time because this is just a review. But
That
yeah,
was
the
a-
rumors about Arch Manning and everything. Just
That was a
interesting.
big podcast episode last night, and to some of the people that did listen to it, we appreciate you listening and listened all the way through. I hope you enjoyed the podcast, and so we'll probably do multiple through the week. I don't know if we'll do 3 like we're going to this week, but we'll definitely do multiple through the week.
Yeah.
To recap.
We'll try to
some
keep
of
you
the
updated
polls
on
and
the
stuff.
We'll try to do the polls and previews of the week that we're going into. So like we'll have 3 this week because we done the polls a little late. Well, it wasn't that it was a little late. It's just like week 1 finally ended for a lot of people Monday, Labor Day,
Yeah,
and that's
Yeah.
when we did it. And then the
Like
polls
Duke
came out
and,
literally
Clemson.
the next
today
day. Yeah,
or
today.
September 5th. Sorry.
Yeah,
September 5th.
and I do. I have to kind of correct myself. I said September 4th was when the first polls were released. That's not true, and I didn't realize I said that until I went back and listened a little bit. They actually came out earlier than that, but um, it had just been updated or something on that website I was looking on, and that's why I said September 4th, and I just had
And
read it off.
yeah, and with how some of these games have been going out recently, like some of them have been playing on Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I don't know when we'll do the preview. We'll leave that up for Dustin to decide, but we'll
May end up
probably end
doing
up
it
doing a little
tomorrow
week two
night,
preview.
uh,
Okay.
maybe,
So
just
we'll have 3 in a
because
row, maybe.
we'll have to look.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll have to look to see what the first game of the week is. Now that's got to be the first week for the top 25. That's not just for some Joe Blow
Yeah. It has to be top
team.
25.
It's got to be a top 25 team. So I'll look tonight when we get done with this and see, and we'll talk about it after the stream. See when that first game is. If it's on a Saturday, then we could probably do it on a Thursday or Friday night and be no problem. Just an update and or what we think all the games will end up being the rest of the weekend and uh, what possible outcomes
And
could
then, of
be.
course, a recap after week 2.
Yeah, we'll
And then it
do.
starts all over again.
Yeah, we'll
I
start
don't
right
what
back.
do we I don't know if we want to do the recap with the rankings. Like I don't know how you want to do that. We'll talk about it after. We'll see what happens. But
You'll
Yep.
get at least probably 2 episodes per week, no matter what. So
Yeah.
um,
We could do a preview and a recap.
yeah, so you'll definitely get at least two, maybe 3 episodes a week, hopefully. But we'll discuss that amongst ourselves and we'll put it out. But I think that's going to be pretty much it. I mean, we talked about the top 25. We talked a little bit about Texas and the struggles of the QB fight that's going on down there. Um, I really don't
yeah,
know
nothing much to really talk about, but just
if
the new polls, really.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and I think they were pretty much on par with. I mean, pretty much almost exactly what ESPN had put on their.
Predicted.
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
I think it
predicted
was
and Cody read
exactly
off.
predicted.
Uh, I think
There was a
they
couple different.
I think they put Florida as the second, and they were
Oh, okay. So they moved. Okay.
yeah
Gotcha. Okay.
So there was
So
a couple, but it was pretty dang close. I mean, they were pretty
yeah
spot on with uh with what they had predicted there, and it seemed like ESPN had some kind of play into that
yeah, we we
somehow.
probably would have went. Yeah, we probably would have went a little bit more in depth if we didn't literally recap entirety of week 1 last time. But since
yeah
we had already recapped all the games and stuff, this is just a poll review because I mean, we've already talked about all the games, all the teams,
Yeah, there's really not much more to
and
say about it.
there's not really much more to say. Just talk about, is it fair? Is it
yeah
just? Of course, we talked a little bit about how the games went, but it wasn't too in depth. But yeah, just expect this to be what reviews are like. To be honest,
yeah
Yeah, just
because
especially when they come out with the new polls, see if they're fair to what we saw on the in those games that weekend, um, and go on from there. Because if we're already recapped the week, there's no sense of or weekend of going back into it. So, but yeah, y'all got anything else to say?
no, I
I
think
I just think I think this poll was pretty good. I think this was pretty solid poll.
it was fair.
I think
Just
it
as
I
fixed some
think
of
it
the
was a very
issues.
I think it was very
It
very
fixed some of
fair.
the
Yeah.
issues that they had, and I'm pretty happy with what they got. There's a lot more play time, so we'll see what happens throughout the year.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
just don't take these seriously until now, until maybe week 3 or 4.
I would
That's when
say
we need.
4.
That's when the polls start seriously because now it's like way too early to really talk.
Yeah.
We're just talking about every week because we just like kind of fantasizing on what could happen and where people could be next week or where people could like gain or lose rank next week. So we'll do every week till the end of the end of the season pretty much.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
just because it's fun to do and it's another thing to talk about and I don't think a lot of people talk about it. A lot of people don't
Yeah.
talk week for week basis on the polls, the AP polls of rankings. It's just, oh, blah blah blah, here's the game, and then like, oh, okay. So if you care about rankings a little, it's not that we overly care, it's just we think it's interesting to talk about that.
Yep.
Hey, this team's this place, are they gonna be able to do it against this team that's at this place, or this rank? So anyway, yeah, no, not to not to keep going on about it and beating a dead horse here, but yeah, I'm pretty much good. It was fair. Justice is served, and then week 2 polls. So
Sounds
I'm
good.
good.
Well, that's going to be it for us. It's football time in college football, or at least in the top 25 polls. So this week, uh, I will be signing off here. This is Dustin,
I am Jaden.
And I'm Cody.
and we will catch you in the next episode.